Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Tony Ann sitting here blissing out today under the Bodhi tree. I've just come from a yoga class, my first in a very long time, and was actually a bit more of a restorative yoga stretching class, and it was exactly what I needed. And funnily enough, I had been putting it off for such a long time, probably years in fact, but yeah, I finally went and did it, and it's so interesting because the resistance that I was facing with doing the class was really an internal battle around not wanting to hit the pain points, essentially, because I'm not really a physically very flexible person. Lots of my activity's always been about cardio or weights or things like that, and that's undermined my flexibility, obviously making it all the more important for me to do something like stretching, but has made it such an internal battle for myself. So I didn't want to be hitting those pain points. I didn't want to be, I guess getting to those points where I just couldn't do it. And so anyway, I went and did this class, and it was a really restorative, gentle class. And it was just such a good message around avoidance, basically, that you avoid things for such a long time, or I have avoided things, yoga, for such a long time, and to go and find that it was exactly the thing that I needed. As well as even when I did bump up against those pain points, those points of inflexibility, it actually really felt good, because the internal narrative was one around my body really needs this. I'm giving myself what it is that I need, and I'm really nourishing myself by giving my body what it needs to be able to function at its best. And see, even though it hurt, and even though it was a little bit uncomfortable at times, it actually felt good. And so that's such an interesting thing, and I think it really extends to personal growth, because so often personal growth is painful and tricky and difficult, and we do hit up against those pain points or avoid those pain points for such a long time. But then when you get the release, when you actually get the breakthrough that you've been needing and wanting all this time, it's such a release, and it is such a relief. And it's like, why didn't I do this years ago? Why didn't I actually get on this bandwagon? Because now my life is entirely different and so much better. And I resisted it for such a long time, and now I've had this breakthrough, and yeah, it's like, why didn't I do this before? I just wonder if that light's okay. I think I'm looking like I'm a bit in shadow, but I don't want to be out there in the sun because it's very hot today. Maybe that's a little bit better. Anyway, there's a bin behind me. Oh, that's wonderful. Anyway, so just a really, really important, I guess, thing in terms of physical flexibility and physical ability, and how that then extends to psychological flexibility, I guess, is one way of looking at it. And really how we might resist those pain points, and do we really need to be, or could we be acknowledging that there are pain points there, and to be able to be making space and room for that, and giving ourselves what we need in order to be able to grow through them, to relax and release into them. And a lot of her suggestions around breathing into it and relaxing and letting go were just such powerful messages, and really is the title of today's live stream, which is, a lot of what she was saying was look forward, think forward, look forward, think forward. And that is also such a powerful narrative, because so often we get so caught up in what's happening for us right here and now, as opposed to really looking forward at what's just right out in front of us even. We don't even have to think too far out in advance. We can just be looking at what's right in front of us, and to be saying, right, I'm looking forward, I'm thinking forward, which helps us to look through the struggles that we're having right now. Because, as much as we want to acknowledge what's happening for us now, we also want to be maintaining hope and maintaining optimism that there is something that I'm working towards here. There's something that's just in front of me that I'm reaching for, and that when I do this, this is where I'm going. It's purposeful suffering, if you like, is a term that I absolutely love, because it's so relevant to life. Let's just see if I can move again, just to make that a bit better. There we go. So that purposeful suffering, to really just be experiencing whatever it is that we are experiencing right now, and then to be able to just keep our focus just a little bit forward, just a little bit in front of us, so that we can maintain hope and optimism. And that's such a powerful, I guess, mantra. Think forward, look forward, think forward. So, so that's my morning, and I'm certainly blissing out as a result of it. So just really setting myself up for such a wonderful day because I feel relaxed in my body, and then that then flows through, and I've got lots of writing to do today. So that's just such a powerful, framework to be able to launch off from for today. So yes, into today's live stream. So an interesting week in the blogs, and I guess one of the most powerful messages that I really hope has been coming through, which is this idea of breaking the silence. And it's such the bane of my existence, really, this ignorance that still surrounds depression and anxiety. And I spoke to it last week in terms of sharing my story, but I also need to speak more to why I felt the need to share my story last week, which has really come through in the blogs this week, which is breaking that silence, which is people struggle and suffer and keep it all to ourselves. And even if you do then ask for help, then how that is responded to will make all the difference as to whether or not you grow through it and feel supported and loved and cared for, or whether or not you remain stuck and then get pushed further back into your box. And so really my mission in terms of everything that I share here under the Bodhi tree is all about lifting the veil of that ignorance. So within ourselves, that, the parts of us that we don't understand and that really we self-sabotage, but also for people to actually start to understand a little bit about what they're experiencing might actually be a bit of depression and anxiety, or to be able to really understand that for themselves, or whether or not there might be people in their life that are suffering and experiencing hardship and whatever. And so, again, where can that word from you make all the difference? Because certainly if you have someone who is experiencing depression and anxiety in your life, how you are around them will make all the difference as to whether or not they feel shamed and blamed, and that will make it so much worse, or whether or not they'll feel loved and supported and be able to come out of their shell and back to the normal person that they are. And really that absolutely depends on the context in which they live and the relationships in which they have. Yes, thank you. I feel really passionate about that because it's absolutely so true that if you are suffering, the last thing you need is judgment and blame. And so my absolute firm belief is that if anything is going to change around depression and anxiety, yes, people absolutely need the skills to be able to manage it, but we need to change this on a societal level as well. The understanding around depression and anxiety absolutely needs to change, and people need to know how to support each other and love each other when we're at our most vulnerable, because I think the measure of a society is really how we treat our most vulnerable. And when people are feeling depressed and anxious, they are at their most vulnerable. That's absolutely the case. They don't want to be there. That's not a choice. That to get there is not a choice. And absolutely there are things that we can do about it, but so often it's a lack of information. And that was reinforced through Home to Me on Tuesday with my face-to-face work, where people still come to me and they go, I don't really vibe with the depression thing, but they fit all of the symptoms, because they don't want to be named and shamed. They don't want to have that impact their career. They don't want to have that impact their relationships, to have this label. But the label's only a problem if the label comes with shame. The label in itself is helpful because it helps us understand what's going on and it helps us understand what to do about it. So the analogy of the cancer, if you went to a doctor and they said that you had cancer, you wouldn't be named and shamed and ostracised and sent to the leper camp or cancer camp, as it were. You just wouldn't. But so often the case, that is the case with anxiety and depression, or just vulnerability, not even depression, anxiety, but vulnerability. God forbid we show there's a vulnerable side. And so, that if you went to a doctor and you said, you had this, they gave you this diagnosis, you'd be given treatment and you'd be given care and flowers and cards and chocolates, and, people would go, oh, wow. But if you're given the label of a mental illness, such as depression and anxiety, or Again, just, stress, or maybe stress is a little bit more understood. We can say, I'm feeling stressed or burnt out or I'm angry, or, these are much more sort of acceptable terms. But if we actually look at all of those things, they all fit within the gamut, the criteria of depression and anxiety, but they're the labels we don't want to accept. But until we do, then we won't fully understand it and we won't fully be able to treat it as a society. And so it's so critical that this stuff gets shared. It's so critical. And so coming to the Friday post, that whole idea of, I'm a failure as a parent, for me to be sharing that, my intention absolutely is to share the internal workings of what that depressed voice, and I'm not suffering from depression, by the way, that is something that is just a default, that it's a vulnerability there, if you like. And I spoke last week about my experiences of depression in the past. And so that's always there. And so what I commit to every single day is managing that and ensuring, and if you read the full blog post, what you'll see is what I demonstrated is the process. What we do when, depression nips at your heels and it comes up and it throws up aren't you just the worst parent in the world? That's their depression going, come this way, come with me, you know where I am, let's go party. And me saying, absolutely not, unacceptable, not going with you, get away from me. And this is what I do. So I turn inwards and I regroup and I say, well, actually, you know what? Parenting is hard. Everybody struggles with this. This is not abnormal. You have a little sassy pants, and absolutely I do at the moment. Still three-nager at the minute. And so I have full compassion for myself around how hard this is, that throughout the day I'm doing it by myself. When they both run in different directions or both having an episode, what are you going to do? Feel like crying with them? Well, no, absolutely not. It's so true. Absolutely, that what I was demonstrating and what I guess I feel so passionate about is that breaking that wall of silence through me sharing, I guess what that process is when it comes calling and it's knocking at your door, what do you do with that? And so that demonstration really of, this is what it's inviting me to do, and I'm just saying no thanks, and I'm just being kind to myself. I'm choosing to be kind to myself. I'm choosing to be self-compassionate. And I'm choosing to see it in a different way. Yes, parenting's hard. Yes, this will pass. And it does. If you look at children, I can fully growl at them and be cross. And Sonny even said to me yesterday, we're yelling at each other, Mummy. And I was like, yes, we are. And I'm very angry right now. And so, but I love the fact she can tell me that, which is lovely. And, she was just, I guess was being a little, if you want to use the term naughty, but she was just not doing the right thing. And she knew it. And so pushing buttons, pushing boundaries, but, that she can actually verbalise that. But I guess for myself to then be able to regroup from that and go, right, that's a moment. For her, probably 5 minutes later, she was absolutely squealing her head off in delight and joy. And so from we're yelling at each other, Mummy, to, we're, having the best time in the world, that for a child, it doesn't last. They just don't hang on to shit. They really don't. But us, I've growled at her, I'm the worst parent in the world, and off I go down the rabbit hole. Well, no, I don't have to do that. I can learn from my children who live in the present moment and go, well, how about I do that too? How about I laugh along with them and I just let that go, just let it go. And so that's a choice though. I could choose to say, well, now my day's ruined. Like, you didn't pick up your loom bands and now my day's ruined. Well, I could. And I could choose to latch onto the fact that I did growl at her for not doing it and really beat up on myself about it, and I have done in the past. But I'm just choosing not to, because why? Why would I do that? How is that helpful? And so being able then to make a different choice and saying, well, you know what? What's done is done. That's in the past. And what can we do to regroup and move on from here? And so really that is a daily commitment to myself. Unacceptable to treat myself that way. Absolutely no compromise around self-love and self-acceptance, even when I have not met my expectations as a parent, and really though they're way too high. My expectations as a parent are unreasonable. Like, I should always get it right, and I should never growl and get cross, and, I should just be Gandhi or, Buddha or, whoever, the best parent in the world, whoever the idealised version of that is. And even if you're not a parent, I'm sure there are experiences there where you haven't met your own expectations, and then, the internal critic just comes calling and says, here I am, I'm ready to give you a hard time. And there becomes a choice to be able to say yes or no, like whether or not you're going to listen to it and choose to beat yourself up, or whether or not we can talk back to it and say, well, maybe there's something to learn here. And if there is, I'm more than happy to learn from this. I'm more than happy to take that on board, because, that's just being silly otherwise. So, what can we change for next time so it doesn't happen, and then regroup and get back in the game, because as you know, if you have children or seen children, as I'm sure you would have, that they are very much in the moment and they'll get back into it, and so be it. And so as a parent, you have to be prepared and ready to do that too. And so, importantly, we have those strategies. So I guess bringing those two together, what I see is that for me to be saying, let's break the silence, and for me to remain silent is actually hypocritical. And so what I feel so strongly about is a really heartfelt, open-hearted demonstration, really, of what I've learned around, that inner critic, and how it can give you a caning, and how it can really just leave you so vulnerable to more stress, more depression, more anxiety than you can ever possibly need in your life. No one needs that. And so being able to break that wall of silence for myself in terms of saying and asking and requesting people to share things along, and to really, if this has helped you, then to share it along. Certainly that's a message that I have. And so, yes, absolutely, to share that message along, to break that wall of silence, but also for me to be able to be open-hearted and to be able to share my experience so that I can demonstrate that, these things happen. You get triggered, and, maybe self-compassion and self-kindness is not the first go-to, but could it be your second? And that's definitely, the blog post on Friday is what that's all about. It may not be your go-to, but it can certainly be your second. And so really then demonstrating, again, breaking that wall of silence and saying, this is what it sounds like on the inside, that this is what maintaining our health and wellness, this is what it looks like, this is what it sounds like. It doesn't have to be your first, but it can certainly be your second. If it's not your second, it can certainly be your third, wherever you catch yourself. Because basically, what we know is that what happens is that, we start out with a trigger, and then what the mind does with that is makes up stories about it. So you've got the trigger here, and then it goes out in spirals. And so you've got, so before you know it, you've got the trigger, and then you've got I'm the worst parent in the world, where you started out with pick up your loom bands. So how does that even connect? And so it's an internal working, and it can really then leave you vulnerable to stress, depression, anxiety, just not quality of life, basically, because if the inner critic's giving you a caning, then it's not, life is not quality, basically, if it's there. And so that absolutely, again, that's an internal choice, it's an internal commitment, it's an internal decision to be able to do that, and absolutely every single day. It's not that, self-care is something that you do from time to time. It's a daily commitment where you commit to that every single day to be able to look after yourself as your number one priority, because without that, then you're really not able to give to others anyway. And so really looking at self-care as an altruistic act, it really can be, that we're looking after ourselves because we know we can be so much more open-hearted and so much more generous when we are coming from that space. And so that can be a choice. Well, I'm going to choose to look after myself because it feels good, and because I know that it's good for me, and because I know that it's good for others. So when I look after myself, who benefits? So when I engage that radical self-care, who benefits? And so we can see that everybody really does, us and everybody. As well as when you're happy, we're much more likely to be, again, generous, and then living in alignment with our purpose, and really then making a difference in the world. And that's really a massive message from here under the Bodhi tree, is to be living in alignment with our purpose. And so so that's sort of bringing the blog posts all together. And I guess the main message really is, again, like, let's really start to make a difference in breaking that wall of silence, because it
it starts with you, like I say, Bodhi starts with you, and that making a difference, starts with you making a difference in your own life, making those choices, making those decisions for yourself. But then, we can absolutely en masse, make a difference on a societal level. And so, that is something that you can take on as a responsibility to say, yeah, well, and this is what I can do. Not a massive, it doesn't have to feel like a burden, but this is what I can do. This is what I can do. This is the change that I can make. And so, again, really importantly, that it's something that absolutely needs to change on that societal level so that people who are suffering have the opportunity to be able to get better, because it is treatable, it is manageable, it is something that, is not necessary. We don't have to go on to have chronic states of anxiety and depression, provided that it's managed well. And so, so that's bringing all the blog posts together. And so I do hope that you've had a chance to have a bit of a read of that. And if not, then obviously I've clarified it a little bit here for you today. And so what I'd like to introduce now and announce now really is two things. One, which is my next offering, and one which is an epically awesome giveaway. I'm super, super excited about this because I just know that for the person who gets it, it's just going to make such a difference for them. And I'm super excited to be able to give this away. So as part of my mission here under the Bodhi tree is to make a difference. And so this is something that I just know will be absolutely right for the person who gets it. And so it will make just such a difference for them. So first, what I'd like to say is the offering, which I'm now starting to offer my one-to-one coaching package. And so that's one-to-one with me, a coaching package. And so what that offers for you is 4 sessions. So the first session is what I call the detailed personal history. And so the detailed personal history is something that is really a deep dive. It really starts to identify very specifically. So it's a structured interview, but it really is with the intention of starting to identify specifically what your blocks and barriers are. And so those things that have been holding you back, maybe for your whole life, will actually, by the end of that first session, will actually make so much more sense. And so that detailed personal history is really getting down into the guts of the matter and to really start to identify what those blocks and barriers are and to be able to start to make a massive difference in your life. And so if you've had issues in relationships, with your weight, with your finances, in your career, and you feel that there are blocks and barriers that are holding you back, then even that first session, so the coaching package is 4 sessions, so it's that first detailed personal history, then 3 follow-up sessions. And so it's really, really amazing value because what you get out of it really is a clear path forward. And so the coaching package is really about launching yourself off into that next level you. And my sister and I were talking about a quantum leap, or that show, where he does sort of time travel and that idea of that quantum self, which is a little bit out there, but really stepping into a whole different version of yourself, where you really feel that, things that have held you back, you do take that quantum leap, that quantum shift in your life, because it is absolutely different once you start to see those limits, those barriers, those blocks that have held you back, so have made you hold on to the weight when you haven't really understood why, or where you've been broken, you don't understand why, or you've had dysfunctional relationships or whatever. And so then the internal shift, no change happens out there unless it happens in here. No change happens out there unless it happens in here. It happens here first. And so what this does is gives you that opportunity to really start to launch yourself off into that next level you, that launching yourself off into a completely different life, because you just absolutely see things in a different way. And so that's the one-on-one coaching package. There are 4 spots only. So I'm opening up 4 spots. And so the suggestion is that you do the detailed personal history and then you do 3 sessions weekly. So it's really, really an intense period. So this coaching package is not for everybody. So I'll just put that out there now. The coaching package is not for everybody. It's only really for people who are ready to make change now. So if you are completely fed up with your blocks and your barriers and you're ready to make a change, this coaching package is absolutely for you. And so if you are ready to make that change, then this coaching package can really absolutely help you with that. And so again, it's those 4 sessions. And so there are 4 spots. And what I'm doing, which is the big giveaway, is I'm giving one of them away for free. And so what I'm asking, in addition to what I've just said about under the Bodhi Tree's message, is that I'm going to ask anybody who wants to enter the giveaway is to go and to share that blog post, which was Depression and Anxiety Break the Silence. So my mission here under the Bodhi Tree is to break the silence. And so what I'm asking you to do to be able to get the giveaway, that one-on-one coaching package, 4 sessions with me, detailed personal history, breaking through your boundaries. What I'm asking you to do is to go and share that post is all. That's all you need to do to be able to win this coaching package. And so what you'll do is you'll go and share that, and you will then go into the draw, essentially, to be able to win that coaching package. And the coaching package is valued at $1,000. And so basically what I'm giving you is epic value. It's absolutely, not only is it monetarily valuable because it's valued at $1,000, but it is absolutely going to change your life. Like, these are really kind of, this, if you've ever worked with me individually, I feel kind of a little bit selfish here, because these are not things that I've really covered in my individual psychology practice, because these are coaching strategies. So coaching is much more directive. It's much more focused on where you are now to where you want to be. And not that my sessions, like as a psychologist, are not like that. They are. But this is much more laser pointed, essentially, that it's really focused. So again, where I say it's not for everybody, it's absolutely not, because again, it's really about being laser focused and getting down to the nitty gritty and really launching yourself off into where you want to be. So if you're not kind of ready for that, then the coaching package isn't for you. But having said that, if you enter, then there's no stopping you from giving it to somebody else. And so I definitely feel that whoever wins this is going to be the right person. And so definitely, you know, if you know somebody who would really, really benefit from this, and you just know that they wouldn't be able to afford coaching sessions, then absolutely your prerogative to give it away. And that's completely up to you. Excuse me. But I definitely know that this is something that will absolutely change your life if this is something that you are ready for. And so what I would suggest is, again, go and share that post. Then you'll go into the draw to win this one-to-one coaching package. And then there are 3 other spots. So if this is in any way vibing with you, that I guess you've been listening to me, you've been reading my posts, you know who I am, you know I don't hold anything back, that I will absolutely get this coaching package and tailor it to exactly what it is that you need. So the coaching package is what it is, but it is absolutely focused on what it is that you need, with the intention of giving you exactly what it is that you need to launch you into the next level you. And so what it is something that is absolutely tailored to you. And so really, really importantly, again, that you're ready for it, but that it's something that it will just absolutely change your life. And so what I would suggest, again, go and share that post. But there are 3 other spots. And for those people, if you know that I'm the coach, guide, mentor for you, you will know that by now, that you have been listening, reading, watching, observing, and some from afar. Like, I know there are people out there who are observing from afar. But if the time is now to make that epic change in your life, then I'm here, and I'm offering, again, those 3 other spots. One's to give away. There are only 3 left. And so what I'm suggesting there is, if you know that I'm the coach for you, if you know that I'm the mentor for you, and that you're ready to take that action now, I'm inviting you in. Now's the time. And all you need to do is message me. So just either message under the Bodhi P. Oh gosh, spending too many time with children, poo-poo, bum-bum all the time. Anyway, that's an aside. Under the Bodhi Tree, message me under the Bodhi Tree. There's a message, or you can just PM me, Tony Ann Campbell, just PM me. You're absolutely welcome to do that as well, or if you have any other questions. But my guess is that you'll know if I'm the right person for you. You'll know if you're ready to make that change, and you'll know if you're ready to actually commit and invest 4 weeks of your life to launch yourself off into something that's completely different. So again, you'll know if I'm the right person for you, and you'll know if you want to work with me, and I'm inviting you in to do so now. And so really importantly, Again, there's one to give away. All you need to do is go and share the post. Depression and anxiety, break the silence. And or if you absolutely wanted to be guaranteed a place, there are only 3. If you want to be first in best dress, then PM me. And I'm absolutely more than happy to answer any questions. And so that's my big exciting announcement. It's so funny because I've been kind of blocked around it, to be honest. It's not something that I really kind of thought that I would do here, but it's just come to me that actually it's really selfish to keep these skills and strategies. These are the exact skills and strategies that I use for myself every single day. And so these are the strategies that have helped me manifest the relationship that I have, the wonderful relationship that I have, the house of my dreams, the job of my dreams. These are absolutely all the strategies. And so, if you look at me, that, these are, I'm living proof, that these strategies work. And I have been keeping them to myself selfishly. And so I got the download this week. Well, now's the time. Stop being so selfish and put it out there and really help other people. Again, that laser focus to really change your life. And so if that's you and you're ready for that, then please PM me, jump on board, or if you want to be in the chance to win, but you may miss out on a place, and that's fine too, but that's a choice. So you can either win a spot or just jump on in now, and those spots will fill fast because, again, this is something that will change your life. And so, so that's all for today, and I'm really excited to hear from you. And so just PM me, and I'll be answering all messages personally, so it'll always be me. And so if you have any questions, PM me, message under the Bodhi tree. I'll also answer those messages all personally, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. But that's my big announcement. Huge giveaway. Please share along. Please let other people know. And if you know of anybody who might want to benefit from the winning a coaching package, again, valued at $1,000, really super epic, awesome value. And I really honour and cherish the opportunity to work with whoever wins that. So have a really awesome Saturday, and I look forward to hearing from you, and we'll be in touch very soon. All right. Catch you later.